If you've been on any of the Circle, Hammersmith and City, Metropolitan or District lines in the last 15 years, you probably will have been on an S-Stock, a single type of train that operates these lines currently. But how did they come to be and what did they replace? Today, we'll be covering the current and the past trains of these 4 lines. Welcome to Subsurface Explained.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform.
This is Barons Court. This is a District line train.
Everyone loves S-Stocks, the current trains that operate on the 4 lines. And surprisingly, the S in S-Stock doesn't stand for subsurface, it stands for suburban. Built by Bombardier, they've been in service since 2010, first starting on the Metropolitan line. It took until 2016 to complete the rollout of the entire fleet of 192 trains. Their introduction wasn't plain sailing, with 37 of the trains being returned to Bombardier in 2012 for urgent cabin modifications and automatic train control technology to be fitted. But since that, they've become one of the most reliable and iconic trains on the Underground, with Londoners voting the train as one of the 10 favourite design icons, along with the Tube Roundel and the Routemaster bus. But what makes these trains so loved after only 15 years of service? Mainly the wide, fully walk-through interiors with plenty of seats, the wide doors and also the less wide doors, and the simple but amazing maquette. These trains also come in 2 variants. The S8s, they run on the Metropolitan, with 8 cars, as the name suggests. They have a mix of bays and longitudinal seating, while the S7s run on the 3 other lines, being 7 cars long and made up entirely of longitudinal seating. As you probably can tell, S-Stocks are great, but let's have a look at what they replaced. They replaced 3 different fleets of trains built between the 60s and the 70s, the A, C and D stocks. First, the A60 and A62 stock were built for the Metropolitan line by Cravens in Sheffield. These trains were ordered by London Transport when electrification of the Met was extended to Amersham in 1959, hence the letter A. The interiors had entirely transverse seats, representing a mainline train rather than an underground train, and they remained in relatively original condition up until their retirement in 2012. 1 driving motor and trailer are currently in Acton Depot in preservation as a static display. Next came Metro Camel's C69 stock in 1970, with the C standing for Circle Line. These trains were made up of 2-car units, with 3 units being coupled together to make a 6-car train for service. The C69 stock operated on the Circle Line in the Metropolitan line between Hammersmith and Barking, which was later renamed to the Hammersmith and City line in 1990. A further 33 2-car units were ordered for the District line's Wimbledon to Edgware Road section, known as the C77 stock, entering service in 1977. Originally, the interiors had mostly transverse seating, but the 1989 refurbishment of the fleet replaced it with completely longitudinal seating to allow for more standing room, as well as replacing the flammable wooden flooring and giving them a repaint. By the 2010s, the trains were looking quite tired, and they were replaced by S7 stocks between 2012 and 2014. 1 driving trailer is preserved at Acton Depot, and 2 are at schools in South London for educational use. The final train of this era was the D78 stock, which ran on the District line. These were also built by Metro Camel. 75 6-car units entered service with the iconic plain silver livery with a red front in 1980. D78 stocks brought many new innovations, including new suspension, a modern cab, and most noticeably, push-button operated single-leaf doors that proved complicated with customers at first. The very 80s looking interior remained up until the 2005 refurbishment of the fleet, where an extensive upgrade was carried out inside, with CCTV and a passenger announcement system installed. These trains were the last to be replaced by S-Stock, with replacement happening between 2015 and 2017. In 2014, Viva Rail purchased 226 D-Stock cars with ambitions of turning them into low-cost multiple units for use on the main line. Out of the 226 cars that were bought, 48 of them were converted to become Class 230s and Class 484s, currently operating with Transport for Wales and Island Line respectively. In 2022, Viva Rail went bankrupt and the unconverted cars were either abandoned or scrapped. A 5-car unit remains in departmental use on the Underground as the rail adhesion train on the Metropolitan line, operating during the autumn. One car is used as a library in a school in South London, and one car is being preserved at Acton Depot. Before these 3 types of trains, there were many more trains that operated on the 4 lines. Starting with the Metropolitan line, up until the early 1960s, the fleet contained Dreadnought composite coaching stock hauled by Metropolitan Vickers electric locomotives, as well as steam engines. The fleet also contained multiple units such as the T stock, used on Watford services, and the P and F stock, which were used on Uxbridge services. The Circle and Hammersmith and City line used O and P stock, which were later converted into CO and CP stock when their original traction equipment was replaced. These operated right up until the introduction of the C69 stock in 1970. The District line also had a variety of stock before the D78 stock entered service, with the Q stock including many types of similar train with slight visual differences. Some newer versions of the Q stock from 1938 were retired in 1947 to be converted to supplement the fleet of new cars of the R stock fleet. Q stock operated until 1971, when they were retired to be replaced by newer CO and CP stock cascaded from the Circle and Hammersmith and City lines. This lasted until the introduction of the D78 stock in 1980. R stock remained in service until 1983, until D stocks were fully rolled out. Acton Depot is home to a 3-car Q stock formation, currently being restored to hopefully run on the network as a heritage train, similar to the preserved 1938 stock. The restoration website is linked in the description, they are worth checking out. It is clear to say that the history of the rolling stock of the subsurface lines has been complicated, so complicated that I made the subsurface family tree. Hopefully, this will give you a better idea of the trains that have served the network, and what order they came in. I haven't covered many of the earlier trains in this video, maybe I'll do another one if you're interested. In the next episode of this series, we'll look at the complex history of the lines and how they came to be what they are today. Make sure that you're subscribed to this channel so that you don't miss when I upload it. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and maybe even a comment about your favourite subsurface underground train.